Hi everyone, my name is Harley and this is Harley of All Trades. This week's hobby is knitting. I am very excited about this. I already know how to crochet, which is somewhat similar to knitting, but not really. With crochet, you use one hook, whereas with knitting, you use two needles. They're two different things, kind of the same family, if that makes sense. So I'm sure when you think of knitting, you think of a little grandma in her rocking chair with a cat next to her, playing with the yarn. Yeah, knitting is kind of considered a grandma hobby, but it actually has an extensive history. It's widely believed that knitting started around the 1200s in the Middle East and the Mediterranean. The earliest knitted artifact was actually found in Egypt, a sock from around the 11th or 12th century. The art of knitting spread far and wide across many cultures and genders. It was a means to provide warmth and comfort, and it was even used to make some religious garments in some parts of Europe. Today, knitting has become increasingly widespread and accessible, with video tutorials and patterns that can be found all over the internet. And as with a lot of hobbies, there are benefits. It reduces stress, it forces you to remain in the present, it helps with hand-eye coordination, it's sustainable and eco-friendly, it can be either solitary or group-based. I know that there's a lot of knitting clubs and crochet clubs out there, and it can help boost self-esteem. This is another added bonus that I personally love about crochet, at least, is I like to make little things for my friends. So either little crochet, they're called amigurumi, I'm pretty sure, basically like a little stuffed animal, or you can make items of clothing or little accessories. It's very versatile. I've been crocheting for about 2 years now, but I definitely want to try knitting, because I feel like I've gotten crochet pretty down, and so I feel like transitioning into knitting might be somewhat easy.
It was in fact not easy.
Luckily for this hobby, all I really need is yarn and knitting needles, and I actually have both on hand because, like I said, I crochet. But also I had purchased this little bundle of knitting needles from Goodwill a few years ago, and have just kind of had them lying around, so I have all that I need. My plan is to watch some tutorials on YouTube, and I would just want to go over some like basic stitches. I'm not really looking to make a whole full-blown project, and maybe if I feel comfortable with that, maybe I can try a little small pattern for something that may be a little bit ambitious.
It was in fact ambitious.
So we'll see how I feel with just doing the stitches for now. Without further ado, let's get into the hobby. It was day one of knitting week. Like I mentioned before, I already know how to crochet, so it's kind of similar to knitting as far as using yarn, but with crochet you use one hook, and then with knitting it's two needles. And I actually bought a little pack that I found at Goodwill a few months ago, or maybe like a year ago, of knitting needles, so I actually had those on hand, which was really nice. So I'm not really going to do like a project. I just want to figure out some different stitches. So I'm going to start out with like really basic stitches and just see what happens with that. I'm not gonna lie, it took me a while to figure it out, but in crocheting it's called chaining, like making chains for like the foundation of a project. In knitting, I learned that it's called casting on. You just deal with one needle to begin with. I couldn't figure the fingers out for some reason, but finally I realized that you go like that and go under, and then you pull, and that's how you make your little cast-ons. So I think I'm going to stop here for today, just because it took longer than expected to figure out how to cast on. But I think tomorrow I'll start doing some actual rows. That's what they're called in crochet. I'm not sure what they call it in knitting. It'll definitely be using the other needle, so we'll see how it goes. Alright, so I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit frustrated with the knitting hobby. I've restarted this several times now, and I think I'm gonna switch out the yarn that I'm using because I feel like it's a little bit too slick and slippery with these metal needles. I think if I had wooden ones, it would be a bit easier, but I think switching out the yarn for now might be a bit more helpful, especially at the skill level that I'm currently sitting at. I'm doing fine. I'm doing better than I was with the cast-ons. However, doing the actual stitches, I'm getting kind of lost. So we're gonna keep pushing through like this whole series is about. It's not for perfection, it's not for any of that stuff, it's for enjoyment, but I will not lie, I'm frustrated, but it's okay. It's all right. So I was doing okay and then lost all of my cast-ons because I dropped the needle and all the stitches came off. So I'm stopping for tonight because I just feel so defeated and frustrated, but it's okay. There's no deadline, there's no grade that's gonna be given to knitting, so yeah, just feeling a bit discouraged, but it's okay. We'll try again tomorrow.
So I somehow lost the footage from Thursday, so here's Friday.
Alright, so it's the last day of knitting and I'm kind of excited because I've been so frustrated. But you know what? It's okay. I'm gonna just have to start over again and just try to make some stitches. That's the goal today. Okay, so I did the cast-ons. I believe this is the first row of stitches. I think it's a bit too loose, but hey, only one fell off this time. So I'm guessing you would just continue it the same way. I could watch the video tutorial, however, I'm not going to. I should. Wait, I'm actually really excited now. Oh. Okay, I fixed it. We have 2 rows, I think. And if you know how to knit, leave your opinions to yourself, please. I'm very sensitive. I'm just kidding. Please don't comment on it. Just tell me I'm doing a great job. This is pretty, now that I know what I'm doing, it's pretty nice. I'll shoot for like 5 rows maybe. I'll shoot for 5. We'll see if I lose any. Stay tuned. have exciting news. I did one. Wait, how do you count these? We'll call it 5. It looks like ramen noodles before you cook it. I think I'm just hungry. But I'm so excited. I don't think it's super even, but it's okay. Look, it just goes to show it takes practice and takes time, and you don't have to do it right the first time. And this is like the 5th time I've done this, and it's still not 100% right. I feel like I'm doing something wrong, but that's another problem for another day. So I'm proud of this. I'm glad that I stuck with it, and even though I did get frustrated this entire week, I'm glad that I at least have this. Now we'll get into the wrap up. Okay, so I tried knitting for a week. It did not go very well. That's okay. I have learned that I need to work on my patience, not getting so frustrated so easily. I think too that it might help to get wooden knitting needles. If anyone knows how to knit and has any suggestions, or if they find wooden needles to be better than metal ones, then please let me know. Otherwise, I think it's just user error. It also doesn't help that my cat really loves yarn. I should have known better. While I am a little bit disappointed that knitting didn't go exactly how I had envisioned it, I still want to keep at it. I still want to try. It took me quite a while to get the hang of crochet, so knitting is just going to be one of those things where I'll have to keep working at it. And now that I'm coming up on the end of the semester, I'll have a lot more time to engage in that. If you can knit and crochet, let me know down in the comments below which one you prefer. And if you primarily knit, please leave some tips down below for beginners, because obviously you saw me struggling. I hope y'all enjoyed watching me struggle this week with knitting, and as always, embrace imperfection, try new things, and have fun. I'll see y'all next time. Bye!